Because our sushi restaurant is going to be a delivery at first, I felt it was wise to stick with projects that are going to relate directly to the industry, and that will be a delivery bag. So I was able to find a mock-up of a delivery bag on graphicburger.com, and I'm going to use that, but I first need to come up with some ideas and layouts, just like we did with the t-shirt design. So for right now, I'm just going to do a size doesn't matter too much because we don't have an official printing imprint size for the bag yet. Eventually, the printer, whoever's going to be printing the bags for you, is going to give you a size that you would design on so that you can do the bag design on. But for right now, we're just going to do a typical 11 by 8.5 or an A4, just a standard rectangle. And I just changed it quickly to have a vertical presentation instead of a horizontal. So we've done everything, so it's a matter of slapping everything together. We've already done the hard work. So let's do the thing where we put the slogan in the circles. I already did a little bit of research with color combinations using the same color palette we used, the flexible color palette we developed. I spent probably 10 minutes just going through and putting each color combination together and going, well, can't read that. Nope, that doesn't work together. And trying to find ones that I thought were high enough contrast to read. And these are the color combinations that I came up with. For example, if I had this, and I made this orange, even though those are two primary color palettes, that does not read well at all. So those are kind of something I know not to put together and something we could put in our brand standards manual later on. So I have some great slogans. I have a bag here, and I also have a logo system. And I thought it'd be neat to stick with a sticker, kind of round circular logo for this. We have two different contrasts, so let's borrow both of these. We don't want to put SC. If you go back to our logo system, we don't want to put SC here because we need to have the logo name. We want people to be able to identify it immediately because it's a delivery bag, and we want to the delivery bags are great advertisement vehicles. So we want to make sure that we have Sushi Club very visible there. So depending on the color of the bag, depending on which one we use. So let's say with the menu, we established a dark background. So we can establish the same type of dark background using our stone gray color. So we've already done a menu that way. So let's stick with the same direction with this. We can ungroup this and notice how that's black. We can now officially change that to stone gray. We can get our color palette and make it red. Whatever we think would stand out. We can also have our name here and bring in a couple of our sayings, like do the sticker idea, where my chopsticks need a break. That's kind of more of your fun advertising slogan. My chopsticks need a break, or maybe your favorite part of the day is here. That would be another good one to use. So we have this circle up here, and we have a circle down here. So we have very similar shapes, and they are the same. Since they're the same shape, they're competing against each other. So what if we didn't fight with the two elements? We want this to be the main focal point right here. We want people to read the bag and kind of chuckle a little bit. Let's get the logo that's in the banner situation, and let's put that up on the top. So this way, you don't have competing shapes. So all of a sudden, you see the logo, it's very visible, but it doesn't take away from the main focal point because now they're different shapes. So you kind of see how I kind of thought through that. I also want this to be lots of margin. I don't like putting things too close to the edge, so I'm just adding a bit of breathing room and margin there. So this could be as simple as buying black bags and then having two stickers, one that goes up here and wraps around the inside, and then a circular sticker you could put on the bag. And what's great about this is it makes it a lot cheaper and easier to get the bags printed, because all you're doing is getting two series of stickers printed, and then you could buy any black bags. You could buy a bunch of black bags on one of those restaurant websites where you can order restaurant stuff in bulk. So you're making it cheaper and easier for the client. Or you can decide to have this all be printed and not do the stickers and just have it be printed on a bag. And it's really good to talk to the client and price that out, because it could be a lot cheaper to make these stickers instead of a whole bag printed design. So be kind of thinking about that as you do this. If you were to export these as stickers, you do the same thing as the t-shirt. You'd put this on its own artboard. You'd export it as a vector file, like an EPS, and make sure you create outlines so they don't have to have this typography installed. So you right click, create outlines. You'd have an artboard. Let's do an artboard. And they may have certain size or an imprint area that they want you to put the sticker on. So maybe 4 inches by 4 inches. And so you would have a 4 inch by 4 inch, and you would size it accordingly. Sometimes they even supply you with templates, which is really nice when they do that. So let's see what this looks like on a mock-up. So here I am on graphicburger.com. They have some great mock-ups. These are for Photoshop, but you can find Affinity photo mock-ups if you're using Affinity products. You could even make your own mock-ups, kind of like what we did when you could just take a picture of a blank bag and then pop your logo on there. In my mock-up class, I kind of walk through that in both Affinity Photo and in Photoshop. But let's find a bag that would be really suitable for sushi delivery. So the paper bag might be good. It might be a little bit too big, but we can see what options we have. It looks like that might be the best one. Some of these are shopping bags. That's not going to fit. So let's try this brown paper bag mock-up. And let's download it, and I'll see you in Adobe Photoshop. Here we are in Adobe Photoshop. I have the mock-up open. I'm going to double click the red layer so I can go ahead and load our idea in here. Let's do it right there, big and in the center. Let's delete what was already there. And let's see if we can't get our little tag here in. I'm going to get kind of a similar sizing here. So let's close it up. And kind of seeing it on this bag, it makes me want to adjust the sizes a little bit. Maybe make the logo slightly bigger. And also this slightly bigger. So you may just have to readjust after seeing it on a real product. This is why we have mock-ups, to figure out how it looks. You may go back to your design and tweak sizes based on what you discovered. We don't want to use a brown bag. That's so unoriginal. We want to do a really cool branded color. So what if we did a black bag? So we have this paper bag, and you'll find mock-ups like this all the time where you're going to have to customize them to match your brand, because they're not going to be perfect every time. They're going to want to have them be a certain way, and they're not. So let's see if I can't. That is just the paper bag. It's just right here. Let's see if I can't make this black somehow. So let's see if we could just do a quick adjustments to saturate. And let's see if I can't maybe change brightness contrast. Maybe like reduce the brightness quite a bit. That's turning it pretty black, isn't it? Increase the contrast. And we got ourselves a black bag. And I don't like this heavy texture on top. So what we could do is, looks like there's some kind of shading overlay here that adds that on top. We can change it from a linear burn blending mode. What if we change it to something softer? And it may be that we just have to reduce the transparency of it. So maybe multiply, and let's just reduce the, maybe just not make it strong by reducing the transparency, just like that. We could also change the background. So we have this texture background here, but what's something that could be branded that would be kind of cool? And this is going to lead us into some other things we're going to develop, like brand assets. What are some textures and backgrounds and things? Right now we have a circle, and we have some of our slogans, but we don't like have a lot of like a repeat pattern or something to put on the background, so we need to kind of establish that. We could put a picture of sushi in the background. We could just make it black. Let's take our circle here, let's bring it in, see what we can do here. Kind of have a very interesting, just trying to take brand elements we have so far and continuing to have them even as background elements. So in this case, we can make this background black. And you know what, we have kind of this, it's not quite black what we use. It's kind of has a little blue in it. You see with a stone gray, it's got a little bit of that blue in it. So let's see if we can't make sure we stay true to our brand colors and make sure that. And what we could do is we can swap out some of our sayings and maybe do some different colors so we can show this as a series. And you can kind of show off your varied color palette, and you could show how versatile the brand is color-wise. You're not just stuck with red, you're not just stuck with the saying, that this kind of comes together as a set. So there's our bag design. Woohoo! So we have a bag, chopstick crackers, a logo, a t-shirt. We have enough to do a basic presentation for the client. So we're going to be putting that together. We're going to talk about different ways to present to the client, and we're going to do that next in the next section.